You know, our goals going into the game were keep them off the offensive glass, which we didn't do. They had 19 offensive rebounds. I believe they had over 20 points on second chance opportunities, and obviously the young guy next to me is one of the best rebounders in the country, but he can't do it alone. A lot were long rebounds. You know, we wanted them to have to beat us over the top, and we executed that. And we didn't want to turn the ball over much, and we only had 12, so but we were able to take care of 2 of those 3 goals, but the second shot opportunities really hurt us. And we shot the ball poorly. Obviously, a lot of that has to do with their length, and they're a good defensive team, and they extend on you. But you know, going into the half, that's on me. You know, with a young team, I should either burn a timeout or play McMillan and Bristol. Even though they both had 2 fouls, I was debating whether to put them back in or not. And that turnover going into the half hurt, allowed them to go up 9. So. You know, it's interesting before the game, and obviously leading into this game, I was looking at their stats leading into the game and ours, and they're very similar, almost, you know, eerie how similar they are, because we're both young teams. We have 7 freshmen and 4 sophomores, and we're depending on that. And I put a lot of pressure on Chris, Kirvin Bristol, Alberto Eswick. Those are our veterans, and they have to be the young men who lead us, because you can't depend on freshmen every night, you know. Because it's going to be a bit of a roller coaster. What separates freshmen from veterans is the fact that veterans are consistent. And you know, we just got to get back to the drawing board and have a better week of practice. You know, we're in finals, so it's always difficult during finals. But finals end after Tuesday, and then we play another home game on Thursday night. Obviously, playing in the Garden's a home run. Us playing St. John's is a tremendous game, and I think it's good for college basketball in New York. Heard me say that before, and we're trying to work these out where this becomes an annual, whether it's here all the time or somewhere else. I know it's not going to be up at Rose Hill, and I understand that that's fine, but it's a game I think that should be played.
Questions for Chris, please?
Chris, after last season's game against St. John's, you guys came back from that big deficit. What did you tell the younger players like Devin and like Brian when you guys were down big?
To just stay focused, man. Keep your head in the game, and we have like 7 minutes left where we started making a comeback, and they just stayed focused. They didn't really turn the ball over that much, and they just really stayed focused and were like trying to move the ball around and get good shots. We're playing really smart.
Did you start to feed off the crowd as they got into it?
Yeah, I felt it. The last couple of minutes when the crowd got into it, I had that same feeling as last year. And, like, we were all just getting really pumped, and we just fed off the crowd and just kept playing hard.
Chris, they really collapsed down on you down low. You struggled to get to any space. Can you talk about what that was like, getting up shots?
Yeah, I felt like I was going really fast down low. I felt like the double teams or whoever was coming, it made me like go really quicker to shoot my shots. So that's why I was missing a couple of chippies down there. But I felt sped up, so I should have kicked it out sometimes. But I mean, I feel like I could score it. So.
Anything else for Chris? Good, Jack.
There was 14 combined block shots. Were you expecting that kind of physical presence down on both ends?
I don't know. They're a good team. They're very long, so just having to weave around 2 defenders while I was posting up, it was really hard. That's why they got a couple block shots.
I wasn't surprised by it. I mean, they're very athletic. You know, they do a great job finding the ball, you know, from the weak side and closing out on space and doing some of those things. And you know, we're in the top of our conference, or first or second, in shot blocks and steals. So I think one of the problems was we didn't have a whole lot of block shots that led to layups. You know, it wasn't a block shot that came into play and we were able to get out on a break. That would have been helpful. Any easy baskets when you score 50 points would have been helpful.
Do you have anything else for Chris? Thank you.
Thank you. All right, be careful. I'll talk to you later.
Questions for Coach?
Coach, the same way that I asked Chris what you told the players, what did you tell them to keep their heads up to get them to come back in the second half?
Well, you know, it's even going into the half, it's a 3-possession game, you know, and it was just about us stringing some stops together. I thought they made 2 threes in the last 2 or 3 seconds of the shot clock, one by Harrison, I believe, and one by Harkless. And, you know, that can't happen. You have to understand time and score. You have to crowd them late in the clock and make sure that, you know, they have to put it on the deck and eat up a little more time. But those two possessions hurt us. You know, when they're this young, man, it's just, you're teaching them so much. And it's just, don't worry about, they have no idea how long. You know, in high school, we kid around sometimes, we'll go recruiting and we'll watch a high school game, and in the last 2 minutes of a game, there'll be like 12 possessions, you know? And it's just like, and then you get them and you wonder why they don't, you know, they don't respond sometimes, and they have to learn the process. So we do situations all the time when we're trying to teach them time and score and shot selection and getting to the line and some of those kind of things. But we just got to hang around. You know, when you're a young team, our goal obviously is staying in the zone, making them beat us over the top, lengthening possessions. The tempo of the game was perfect. That's exactly what we wanted to do. But once again, I think the outcome was dictated by their physicalness and their ability to rebound the basketball.
Tom, St. John's had 3 guys play 40 minutes. They only have 6 recruited scholarship players. How tough is that going to be once they get to the Big East for them to play games like that?
I don't know. You got to ask Mike. You can only coach one team. I mean, I have, you know, I don't like taking my guys out either. I guess Frazier played 36 and Gaston played 40. So, you know, I've always said Frank McGuire and Bobby Crimmins, those guys didn't want more than 7. You know, they wanted everybody to be happy. I'm moving in that direction, you know. And some of the guys at the end of the bench aren't going to be thrilled by it, but it's hard any night. You're always, you know, and it's a fragile equation. You're a rolled ankle in this business. You're a rolled ankle away from having a rough couple weeks. So, you know, but they do a great job. I've known Mike when I was assistant Loyola Marymount. It was the first time I met Mike. He's an alumnus. I guess that was 20 years ago. So he's doing a great job for them in Lab's absence.
Coach, you took almost 33s tonight and only made about 28% of them. Are you comfortable with that?
If we had taken 40, we might have won at 28%. We would have taken 4s down the end if we could have. I think that one Brian Smith took on the sideline OB was a 4. He was so surprised he was open. I was like, dribble it once, dude. But he would have been at the top of the key. Yeah, I mean, you know, we got them early. We got some really good looks, and we didn't make them. And they're good shooters. You know, we're shooting the ball well in practice. We're shooting free throws well in practice, and then the lights come on, and we're not. And I think that's just a sign of youth. So I keep saying their youth is going to make me old, but no, I'm okay with that. You know, depending on the night and what we have. You know, I thought they were good looks for the most part.
Referring to Smith's 3 as well as another possession out of a timeout where I think you ran down the shot clock a little bit. What was the plan coming out of some of those timeouts? A lot of times they didn't translate to open looks.
You're killing me, man. Well, that last one, that's exactly what we wanted to do. We just wanted to have 3 on the line, buried in the foul line, and get a 3 quickly. It's a 2-possession game. So very often teams are prepared for you to drive the ball thinking you're going to get 2, so you sneak a 3 in if you get a good look. He hadn't made one all game, so I kind of thought he was going to be okay with that. The other thing that we have trouble with, and it's a sign of youth, you know, and they look at me like they really know what we're going to do coming out of a timeout. And then sometimes, you know, we run a cut and they run it halfway. They don't finish the cut, they don't finish the play. But they smile at me. Yeah, coach, we have it. You know? My wife once said, you know, our son is 9 now, and she says he smiles at me and then he does whatever he wants. And I said, I don't know where he gets that. But our teams like that, they're like, yeah, coach, we got it, that's great, that's good. Then we go out and they don't run it all the time. But that's youth. When you have a veteran team, you know, some of those great teams we had when I was at Oxford, you know, Stokes, Rivera, and those guys, they would come in and tell me what we were running, and I was cool with that. And they knew every counter, and that comes with time. It comes, you know, we're building something here. It's going to take a little bit of time.
Tom, coming in from the Manhattan game, 2 solid efforts now. First the win against Siena, and now a 6-point game against a team like St. John's. Where is the state of this team, do you feel, going forward into Atlantic 10 play?
Yeah, I mean, Atlantic 10, as you know, it's one of the best 10 conferences in the country. The teams at the top are, you know, nationally ranked, St. Louis and Xavier and Temple, obviously, and others will rise as the year goes on, but we're moving in the right direction. You know, I think there will be games in the conference. We'll compete more, obviously, than we did last year in more games, and I think we'll be able to get a couple W's. I anticipate that. You know, I'm a dumb coach, man. I expect to win every game. That's how I go into it and prepare for it. So, you know, we're moving in the right direction. It's year 2, and I feel good about players we have in the program, the players we're recruiting to come join us in the future. And, you know, Rome wasn't built in a day.
Last question for Coach.
You've been stressing all season about getting the guys to play a complete game. Do you feel even though you lost, aside from the end of the first half and the beginning of the second half, this was a complete showing from you guys?
No, because at the end of the first and the end of it, I mean, you know, we can't have those shot clock violations. You know, possessions are just so precious. You know, and no, we didn't play, and I wasn't filled with our energy. You know, I threw him out of practice yesterday. You know, yeah, come on, we all know that's a coach employee. Big game, but they weren't working hard, and you know, Fordham is a wild place, man. Like, I'm in the cafeteria, every kid's studying this week for finals. I've worked other places that wasn't the case. So, like, I mean, they're sitting around eating and they're quizzing each other, and I'm like, wow, this really is finals week here. And our guys were a little stressed and they didn't have a great week of practice, but that's no excuse. A veteran team learns how to handle those things. You know, and I just think that no, we haven't done that, and I'm really on our seniors, and I'm demanding, and I consider Gaston to be one because of the number of minutes he plays each game, and I'm really on them about being better leaders. That cannot happen. You cannot have a poor practice the day before a game like this and think you're going to go in and win. You know, the expression I use with them all the time, being a young team, hope is not a game plan. You know, you can't say, oh, I hope I make jumpers today. Oh, I hope I make my free throws. I hope I don't turn the ball over. It's a product of how hard you work at it. And the more you put into this, the more you'll get out of it. And that's all part of growing up, whether it's basketball or finals or coaching or whatever it might be you choose to do with the rest of your life. So that's as philosophical as I can be on. Yeah. Thank you all very much. We appreciate everything. Have a great holiday.